So therapists happen to be a female dominated field, and women tend to not hold each other as accountable and gaslight each other more. They just really do. So I think a lot of what's going on is kind of being underreported right now, and we're not. That means the problem is kind of festering here. So I found someone really cool, uh, Dr. Hannah Spire. She's a professional in this field and is not really like going to be sugarcoating a lot of bullshit that happens. So let's just get to it right here. Already right here, a couple telltale signs. So that's another thing too. Modern females are doing that's not. It's a manifestation of some of the mental illness. Is the nose rings, the piercings all over the place, the tattoos, the dyed hair. A lot of these things are. It's no longer. A lot of where that came from was actually a lot of, believe it or not, a lot of tattoos on women and stuff actually started in Harvard, the school. And that was to show that you were like an artist and everything. And then it kind of became like a little bit of a psyop. No, that's for just tattoos on women. Okay. So we're just going to get to this right here.
Do I fucking feel it?
And these are the people we call empaths, by the way. These are the people we think are so compassionate.
I have it speeded up a little bit. So just be aware of that.
Because we confuse emotional intensity with feeling for other people. The reason I did the preventing borderline episode is that I have tried. I don't really believe that once it's come so far that you can diagnose a borderline personality disorder, I don't think that you can cure it. But if you want to start talking about a treatment, you have to look at the whole picture and really understand the nature of the disorder. And they misunderstand the nature of the disorder, which is why they've not developed a treatment that really works. They only address the neuroticism. They don't address the low agreeableness or the poor conscientiousness. And it's the combination of these and the fast life strategy that has solidified into a personality that repeatedly use crises.
Now, fast life means whole life. Basically, fast life means whole life. And, we'll get to that too. They're also more hedonistic than ever, which is not helping them.
To move people around them. That is what needs to be addressed. And the treatment, the standard treatment, dialectical behavioral therapy, yes, it helps. It helps curb those acute symptoms, but it does not lead to improved social functioning. And it's because they only look at part of the picture. They only look at the visible suffering. This video perfectly describes their own attitudes towards this emotional intensity.
I swear to God, the worst part of a BPD crash out is not even the fact that I crashed out. It's the fact that I can.
Wait a minute. I think they had a typo. She doesn't have BPD. She just likes DP. Come on now.
She belongs to the streets.
Bounce back in minutes, and the people that I crashed out on can't bounce back for a day, a couple days. I get it. I understand from their side. But damn, it fucking sucks. Like, I wish that everybody got over things as quick as I did, because holy fuck.
Yeah, to heck with them, I guess. They don't care about the burden they put on others. The mistake is this: they think of themselves, because they suffer so intensely and they're always told how much they suffer. They're constantly validated. They think that this intense suffering means they're suffering more than others. They think that their intense emotions are an excuse for the burden they put on others. That is the exploitation aspect. That is the low agreeableness. I feel so intensely, so I'm entitled for you to soak all of that up for me. And then I can just move on. Oh, you don't move on that quickly? Sucks for you. This is female interpersonal predation, and we don't recognize it because it's female, and we'll get to that as well.
So we do, but the point she's making that, because they're females, they're women, they're like, oh, they can't hurt anybody. They're just, these angelic beings. And if they did, it wasn't really their fault. They're kind of a victim anyways. Like we still have that programming that comes from boomers and stuff. We still kind of have that programming that's in our DNA. It would be nice to think of women that way, but we're just not really, that's not really what we're seeing. So I like that it's being called out. I mean, we call this stuff out, but when women start seeing it amongst other women, that's a good sign. Because it's just not good. Also, too, I want you to look at the very term itself, crash out. That's a new thing that probably I never really heard of that till, maybe like a year ago or, even less than that. Why is that? Because women are dumping all their problems on social media and all that. So, we're even developing new language for this nonsense.
This is another example.
I can fucking feel it! She needs a fucking exorcism.
So they see their own behavior quite clearly in the aftermath. Do they care? No. Do they care enough to change? Not really. It gets them what they want. And the side effect, which is all the damage they cause the people in their lives, happens, but I suffer more. And these are the people we call empaths, by the way. These are the people we think are so compassionate because we confuse emotional intensity with feeling for other people. And they are in different domains of personality, and they are low in trait agreeableness. And that is what therapy has to target, not just lowering the negative emotions. And the big mistake that they then make.
And this seems like someone who's like a real therapist and good in her field or something like that. I bet she's from like a Scandinavian country, or like, it just kind of sounds like that. I don't know if she is, but sometimes they look at things a little bit more in a detached, objective way. When it's a Western psychologist, who you're going to have? You're going to have like Mel Robbins, who's like, just let them, just be a hoe. And I have $35 million for making a book that's called Just Let Them. You know, we have, you know, the Kardashians are the role model that are just going around creating drama and everything like that. We have a lot of garbage going on. We got Keyshawn Jones here, Seagrip, Clayton, Mystic Marks. You haven't been in a while. Thanks for showing up. We had Whiteout 2 and OGT. So on another deeper level, besides the psychological level, she doesn't really quite have crazy eyes. She has a little bit more of
You know the thing about a shark, he's got lifeless eyes, black eyes, like a doll's eyes.
a little bit like that. So some of this too, and look at what this other thing just said right here. She said, also me after 20 minutes from the rages. So watch what she says.
Therapy has to target, not.
Oops. Let me go back just a little bit more. But watch exactly what she says. This girl, not her.
But I suffer more. And these are the people we call empaths, by the way. These are the people we think are so compassionate.
Hang on.
So they see their own behavior. For you to soak all of that up for me. Recognize it because it's female, and we'll get to that as well. This is another example.
I can fucking feel it! She needs a fucking exorcism.
So she needs exorcism. That means that she knows that something is demonic and wrong with her. They're basically saying that as a joke, but that's what they're saying. Well, yeah, Steve, Adderall is one thing we're going to be getting into, how that's overprescribed, how drugs are overprescribed and whatnot, too. That is a factor of this pathology.
See their own behavior quite clearly in the aftermath. Do they care? No. Do they care enough to change? Not really. It gets them what they want. And the side effect, which is all the damage they cause the people in their lives, happens, but I suffer more. And these are the people we call empaths, by the way. These are the people we think are so compassionate because we confuse emotional intensity with feeling for other people. And they are in different domains of personality, and they are low in trait agreeableness. And that is what therapy has to target, not just lowering the negative emotions. And the big mistake that they then make is the way they measure improvement. So they measure these acute symptoms. How anxious are you feeling?
The only thing they measure is the size of a guy's dick.
She belongs to the streets.
How happy with your life? How do you feel things are going? When was the last time you had suicidal ideations? So self-report in the therapy room. That's how they'll measure improvement, alcohol consumption, such things. And so I've seen family members and partners come into therapy, to family sessions, thinking like, oh, now we're going to be heard, and now someone's going to understand us and give us answers to how we're going to go forward. And then they're so confused because they have to sit there and celebrate improvement that they haven't seen. They don't understand this sort of optimism around the so-called improvement, and it's in this mismatch.
And what is all this improvement and everything she's talking about, this whole therapy world? It's women gaslighting other women and making a whole, echo chamber of their nonsense. That's what we're seeing right now. Nothing's objective. Even just look at your modern, on a smaller scale. If you walk into your elementary school, middle school, or high school, it's primarily run by women. So we're not having a good balance of male and female and having an authority figure there. You need kind of a guy there to be like a shop. He's like, hey, put that shit down, knock this off, stop this malarkey. You need that sometimes. And we're not really getting any balance of that. And this is why everything is just getting out of control.
Because
she does look crazy, but I think I can save this. I think I can save her.
we don't measure the social functioning properly. We don't expect them to become contributing members of society. And so this asymmetry does not exist when we talk about men. And that's why I want to bring in a comparison here. Consider the diagnosis that is in the same category as borderline personality disorder, namely antisocial personality disorder. They both belong at the same place in the cluster B category of personality disorders. Both, they have the same personality structure. They share low agreeableness and poor conscientiousness. So they are impulsive. They both have unstable relationships and poor emotional control. And they are both personality styles that act out, but in different ways. So where the borderline dynamic will tend to use emotional escalation as a lever to move others, the antisocial personality, which are usually then male, they will tend.
So what is she saying part of it? So part of the way that we see this, bubbling to the surface, women tend to act out, want more attention. Like these police videos we see all the time where they're just like, they love the attention, want more of it. What do men do? Men tend to withdraw. They go into the cave. They don't want to cause a bunch of problems to people. There are some who do it, but en masse, that's kind of how it works. Yeah, claiming improvement sells more therapy sessions. Yeah. And they definitely do get heavily medicated.